Welcome back to the workshop. Today I'm going to talk about repurposed and scrap wood challenges, or that sort of thing. For a lot of woodworkers, myself included, a lot of my projects I use scrap wood left over from other projects. Because I can see where a professional woodworker or a really strong enthusiast would buy new wood every time they did a project, but for those of us with a little less money to throw around, we're going to use what we have left over from other projects, and with some new as well. When we left Eastern North Carolina to come here, I had a lot of wood scrap. Unfortunately, I had to throw a lot of it away. Anything that would fit into this bucket here, I brought with me. So that would include any oak, purple heart, poplar, any of the fancy woods went in there, and some of the nicer pine. The rest of the pine, I threw away. So here I am now in Eastern Tennessee, have been for over a year, and so I now have some different wood that I can use, and that's what we'll talk about in this episode. You often hear about repurposed wood, scrap wood challenges, that sort of thing. Basically, not all projects need to be done with brand new wood that you got from a wood shop or from a wood retailer or whatever. For those of us who, a lot of woodworkers will use scrap in every project, even just for small pieces. You know, they might have the front or the face end with brand new wood, and then inside elements may be some scrap wood. So first example is this board here. Back in 2018, I broke my arm, and this is part of a larger 4-foot piece. So I broke my arm, I couldn't do any woodworking, so I set this up for doing painting. I started doing painting, landscape painting, so that's why I have this rectangle where the paint has been used. I really like this board, I didn't want to lose it, but when we moved, I had to cut it down because I couldn't move it in the 4-foot length. So what I did was I cut them down and I made crates out of them to move my tools. And if you had seen my video on the new workshop, those crates are shown in how I built them. So I wanted to use this for something, and so a project that I really kind of wanted to use this one for, and the other ends of it, is a puzzle box or a puzzle cabinet. I wanted to make something similar to the Apothecary. The Apothecary, I still believe, is my best puzzle creation. It's got the most going on and the most interesting. So I wanted to make something similar to that, not exactly the same, but in the same family of techniques. So I think I'm going to make a little, like a desk caddy or something. This will be the bottom of it. I've got another piece that will be the top, the sides, and then inside will be different things, like if you think about an 18th century or 19th century desk, fallboard desk or that sort of thing. You've got your writing platform, but then you've got little drawers and other things. This will be that. It's not going to have a lot of clearance. It's only going to be, there's a board I'm going to work with is a 7-inch board, so it's not going to have a lot of room, but it's something to do with some scrap wood from a former project. Here on the Works Pegasus, I've got 2 boards. This board is left over from the Sunsphere project. This one was purchased for the Sunsphere, but not actually used, and so I cut a little bit of this one off, evened down the sides with a plane, and then glued them together using the clamps that came with the Works Pegasus plus some others. And so at some point I'll take that off, and that will either be the bottom or the top of this new creation. Another option is, this is a cabinet door from a cabinet that was on the wall here. It used to be on the wall. I took it down to put it with the new extra work surface as a place to put things, and I took the cabinet doors off because I don't need them, but I didn't throw them away. So what I could do is take this board and make it into something else. Now I suspect that this is plywood, but that doesn't matter. It's painted and it could be repainted to something else, but that's an option. This is an older cabinet door, so it's going to be probably from the 1970s, maybe even 1960s. So it's going to be maybe a better quality of plywood than maybe what they sell today. But I could easily take this, cut it down, you know, of course, remove the hardware. This hardware, I was thinking about this, there's 2 of these. So I have this one and one just like it. These handles could be cleaned up and become the sides of this puzzle creation that I'm making, the desk thing. So that's So imagine, you know, you can come up with things from all kinds of places, and this came with the house, so, you know, here it is, surplus, and I can easily use it on a project. So back here, I have, this is the bulk of my scrap wood. So these pieces are all, well, not that one. These pieces are all left over from the Sunsphere project. So, and then this kitty little container is full of all kinds of stuff. Mainly, now it's filled to the brim now, and so because I have so much scrap, that's why you get into these scrap challenges. I'm not getting into an actual challenge, it's just challenging myself to use scraps rather than getting to a point in the project and having to run to the hardware store and get more wood, because let's use what we have. So again, this is lots and lots of pine left over from, this is part of that board that I showed you that was for the painting surface. Some of that was used in the Sunsphere, and so that's why I got cut up. Lots and lots of pine from old, maple. This is some of that tiger maple a friend of mine got me, and I used it for making gears in Puzzle Box 5, the clock. You might remember that project. Otherwise, just more and more pine. Here's a piece of oak that I bought at a Woodcraft years ago, and I refuse to not only use but throw away. So I'll find, that's red oak. More, here's some oak, more, lots of pine. Good grief, how much pine? Here's a hexagon from the Sunsphere. I probably can, here's the end of the sphere. More and more, there we go. I got some Purple Heart. Purple Heart left over from the Parthenon project. And because Purple Heart's the kind of thing that is nice wood, very hard to work with, but it's nice wood, and why throw it away when you could use it for something else? I did use some of it on Puzzle Box 5, but otherwise, the clock. More and more maple. Plenty of stuff. Oak, that was plywood. Plywood, here's a little piece of maple birch. Oak. And some maple, more pine, Purple Heart, plywood, lots of plywood. I don't see anything fancy in here. This might be something interesting. This is a ball that came off of a puzzle that I got from Puzzle Master of Canada. I don't know what it is. It's probably not the same kind of wood as something. The thing broke and they got me a new one, so I have the wooden ball. That's not going to stay up. Here's some repurposed, well, I think this is repurposed wood. This is maybe a cornice piece, or yeah, this is a cornice or a piece of wood from a house, and I was like, well, I didn't want to get rid of it. So there is that. I don't even know what that is. So you get the idea. Lots and lots, and some dowels. Dowels. I have longer dowels. This is a shorter dowel. More of that maple from a Woodcraft purchase. More Purple Heart. There aren't a lot of secrets here. This is poplar. One additional thing that I have is a collection of scraps for smaller pieces, much smaller pieces. So this includes Purple Heart and pine, even plywood, oak, there's a gasket. Some of the wheels that I made. Now most of the stuff that I made when I was doing mechanical gears and whatnot are in a separate place. I have all those things somewhere separately so I can get into that if I need to. And there's a lot of just very small. There are occasions where you need a very small piece, and so this collection allows me some really small pieces without having to cut a bigger piece down for that small piece. A piece of oak that's actually tapered. I have a lot of tapered pieces in here. A somewhat tapered piece of pine with a thing on the end, piece of cork. So you get the idea. I think this is plywood. We do have some plywood in here, very small. I can't tell what the tiniest thing in here is. There's a very thin piece of pine. But you know, here's a tiny piece of poplar. You get the idea. Sometimes you need some small pieces, some small, very small dowels. Can't even get them out. That's how small they are. There we go, small piece. And it's not a tiny dowel, it's just a short piece that you might need for something. Because a lot of stuff I do is small. You know, the puzzle boxes and little puzzle creations, I do need small wood occasionally. So, you get the idea. You can have lots of scrap, use them in your projects, and you know, see what you can do. Thanks for watching.